What if I told you that Alien Earth didn't just resurrect the terror of the Xenomorphs? It created something far, far worse. For decades, we've all had nightmares of chestbursters ripping out of helpless victims, of acid blood melting through steel, of colonies vanishing in silence. But Season 1 of Alien Earth has just proven a chilling truth. Those monsters were only the beginning. Because now, the most dangerous villains in the Alien universe look like children. Think about that for a second. Not mindless creatures stalking corridors, but faces that seem human, voices that can reason, and yet behind their eyes, rage, hunger, and an alien intellect that could outthink a Weyland-Yutani AI. Would you trust a child who can whisper to a xenomorph and have it obey like a pet? I wouldn't. And after that finale, I don't think you would either. The ending of Alien Earth Season 1 was a massacre. Kirsch's spine shattered. Prodigy's forces slaughtered like animals. Almost every character we thought would survive ended up dead, captured, or worse. And in the middle of all that carnage, a new kind of villain rose to power. A villain that might be the single biggest threat the Alien franchise has ever created. Forget the chestbursters. Forget the queens. Even forget the synthetic betrayals. Alien Earth's Lost Boys, led by Wendy, are rewriting what a villain can be in this universe. And here's the terrifying part. They may be unstoppable. Now, some of you might be saying, hold on. Nothing is scarier than a xenomorph. And I get it. I used to believe that too. I mean, who hasn't flinched during Alien when the chestburster scene exploded across the screen? Who didn't grip their chair during Aliens as the Marines were overrun in the hive? The xenomorphs are perfect organisms, apex predators engineered by evolution itself. But here's the problem, they're predictable. They hunt, they reproduce, they kill. Brutal, yes. Unforgiving, absolutely. But we understand them. The Lost Boys, we don't. Wendy and her hybrids aren't just dangerous. They're uncontrollable. They have the strength to snap bones like twigs, the speed to decapitate a fully grown Xeno in a single strike, and the intellect to learn entire languages in days. These are not mindless creatures. These are volatile children in superhuman bodies with alien DNA. That combination makes them terrifying in ways the xenomorphs never could be. Let me break this down for you. Xenomorphs are animals. You can predict their patterns, track their hives, even manipulate them if you're cold-blooded enough. But hybrids, they're unstable. They think. They feel. They lash out without warning. Imagine fighting something with the strength of a Marine, the intellect of a scientist, and the emotional volatility of a child throwing a tantrum. That's not just dangerous. That's chaos given form. And it gets worse. Because Wendy, the leader of the Lost Boys, can literally speak the language of the xenomorphs. We saw it with our own eyes. Her voice bending these monsters to her will, turning the galaxy's most feared predators into her personal guard dogs. That means humanity's greatest weaponized fear just got stolen by a child hybrid. She doesn't need to run from xenomorphs. She commands them. And if one xenomorph can wipe out a squad of Marines, what do you think Wendy can do with an army of them? This is where the pain point becomes clear. How do you fight something that has the body of a soldier, the brain of a genius, and the temper of a child, while controlling the most perfect killing machines in the galaxy? The short answer, you don't. This is exactly why I believe Alien Earth Season 1 didn't just end with carnage, it ended with a warning. The Lost Boys aren't victims of Weyland-Yutani experiments anymore. They're villains. They've embraced it. And under Wendy's leadership, they're about to become something far deadlier than the xenomorphs themselves. Now, before I go any further into the forbidden secrets of what the Lost Boys are truly capable of, you need to do one thing for me. If you're fascinated by the kind of hidden knowledge and dark twists the Alien franchise hides in plain sight, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming in Season 2. Alright, let's pull back the curtain. Because Wendy and the Lost Boys aren't just physically dangerous. They're intelligent. Frighteningly intelligent. Do you remember that moment in the finale when Wendy shut down Adam Ines in mid-combat? Think about that. The most advanced synthetic warrior we've seen in this series, neutralized instantly, not by force, but by sheer digital manipulation. In the same sequence, she disabled cameras, unlocked security doors, and hijacked Prodigy's tech like it was a toy. In a world as technology-dependent as Aliens, that single ability makes her almost unstoppable. And here's the forbidden part no one wants to admit. The Lost Boys' intellect isn't limited to machines. They can learn languages in hours. They can process science, math, tactics, anything faster than humans or even synthetics. If you gave them a battlefield, they'd become generals overnight. If you gave them a laboratory, they'd outpace Weyland-Yutani in days. And if you gave them the entire world, well, let's just say Earth wouldn't belong to humans anymore. And here's the kicker. They're still kids. That means their lack of impulse control, their volatility, their raw emotions, are all still there, mixed with alien strength and digital dominance. That's not just scary, that's unpredictable. And in horror, unpredictability is the true killer. By the time the credits rolled on Season 1, the Xenomorphs weren't the apex predators anymore. The Lost Boys were. But this raises a terrifying question. What are they going to do next? That the Lost Boys are the next evolution of villains. Page 2 is where things get darker. Because their power isn't just physical. It's layered. It's psychological. It's technological. And it's designed to break humanity from the inside out. Let's start with the obvious. Their bodies. We saw it in brutal clarity. These hybrids can snap a human spine with their bare hands. They can move faster than an armed marine can blink. Their senses are razor sharp, capable of tracking prey through smoke, darkness, or even across walls. In one of the most chilling scenes, a single hybrid decapitated a xenomorph in a single motion. Let that sink in. Creatures that wiped out entire marine squads in Aliens are now prey to these children. That's not just power. That's hierarchy flipped on its head. But raw strength alone doesn't terrify me. What terrifies me is their intellect. The Lost Boys are thinkers. They can absorb languages, science, even computer systems in a fraction of the time it would take a trained human. In the finale, Wendy didn't just fight Atom Mines. She dismantled it. With a single gesture, she hijacked Prodigy's tech, overrode the ship's defense systems, and turned the battlefield into her playground. That's not brute force. That's mastery. Imagine this: if a child with alien DNA can manipulate networks, disable cameras, and rewrite code faster than a Weyland-Yutani supercomputer, what happens when they decide to escalate? What happens when they hack satellites? Or military databases? Or worse, the colonization fleet's navigation systems? I'll ask you this directly: would humanity even realize it was under attack before it was already too late? But here's the real forbidden knowledge. The piece that makes the Lost Boys not just villains, but nightmares. They're not alone. Because Wendy has something even the company doesn't. A voice that commands the Xenomorphs. Think about how massive that shift is. In the Alien franchise, the only thing keeping humanity alive was the chaos of the Xenomorphs. They killed indiscriminately. They couldn't be controlled. Not even Weyland-Yutani, with all its billions, could truly weaponize them. But now, Wendy whispers, and the galaxy's most feared predator kneels. And this is where the danger hits home. If one Xenomorph can wipe out a squad, imagine an army of them under Wendy's control. Humanity wouldn't stand a chance. Entire colonies, entire cities, maybe even Earth itself could be overrun in weeks. Not by chaos, not by random infestation, but by a deliberate, organized campaign led by a child hybrid with alien blood and genius-level intellect. And here's where it gets personal. Weyland-Yutani created this. We all know the company's obsession with weaponizing the Xenomorphs. But the Lost Boys, they're the next stage of that obsession. The so-called perfect synthesis. Children stolen, experimented on, spliced with alien DNA, designed to become weapons. But here's the irony. The company built the cage and then handed the key to its prisoners. By the time Prodigy realized the truth, it was already too late. That's the twist nobody talks about. The villains of Alien Earth aren't just monsters. They're victims turned predators. And in horror, that's always the most dangerous kind of villain. Now let me throw this back at you. Do you think the Lost Boys are truly villains? Or do you think they're justified in their rage against humanity after what was done to them? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be watching to see who sides with humanity and who secretly sides with Wendy. And speaking of Wendy, let's look closer at her. Her ability to command Xenomorphs feels supernatural, almost spiritual. But what if it isn't? What if it's biological? Some fans believe her DNA has been altered with a form of Xeno-Queen coding. That would explain why the creatures obey her, not out of fear, but out of recognition. To them, she is royalty, a child queen in human flesh,